Hey everyone, it's Riley. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to bring you another bullet journaling video, and honestly I can't often say that like, ooh, this video is highly requested because I'm pretty new to posting bullet journaling videos, but this video actually has been highly requested, and so I'm really excited to share it today. And it's just about getting you prepared to go back to school. Whether you are a student or a teacher, I honestly think that these spreads could work for both. Personally, I started using them when I was in college as a student, but now that I'm a teacher, I've realized that the way that I plan really hasn't changed that much. I've been using some of the really similar things like a semester overview type of thing, a weekly overview, daily breakdown, things like that. And so I think that these spreads could be used pretty well across the board if you are involved in learning, whether you're in high school or in college or a teacher. I think that these spreads could work for you. So like I kind of mentioned, we're going to really break it down. We're going to look at like the semester at a glance, an assignment overview and things like that. We're also going to have like a week at a glance, an ideal day, and then tracking different things like your sleep and your studying and your expenses and just things that are important as a student to prioritize and even as a teacher. So that's what we're doing today. If you want to plan along with me, I would love that. Feel free to grab some supplies. I'm going to be using my typical dotted grid notebook. It's 6 by 8 inches. I'm of course going to be using a fine liner. I always do. And I am using some colors, honestly a little bit more color than I often do. I usually choose like 1 or 2 colors and like stick to that, but today I tried 4. So if you want to be really colorful with me, go ahead, grab a bunch of colors. If you'd rather just stick to a more simple color palette, totally get that. Go ahead and do that too. But yeah, grab your supplies and let's jump right into planning this school year. All right, so I am again using my 6 by 8 dotted grid journal today with nice stark white pages. I'm going with kind of like a pastel-ish color scheme, as you can see, starting with the purple as kind of my main color for the lettering. And I'm just using this all caps, sort of narrow font with my purple marker, and then going in with my little fine liner and just outlining all of it. So this page right here is going to be like my fall 2020 semester at a glance kind of thing. So you can call it what you want to. I just called mine fall 2020, filled some of the gaps with just little black filled in leaves. And then this is where I'm going to lay out the entire semester so that I can see all of it at one time. So I think one of the most important parts of this page is definitely the key. So I'm going to put it over on the other side. And personally, for my key, I like to have not only a different color for each class that you're taking or teaching, honestly this works as a teacher too, but also you can see I have 2 different like types of circles. So I have one circle that is filled in, one that is hollow, and for me it honestly depends what kind of program you're in. If it's something that's really heavy on the reading or like heavy on the quizzes or something like that, I would have like the solid dots as the assignments and the hollow ones as the readings or the tests or something like that. But again, it really does depend what kind of program you're in and how heavy it is on those different types of assignments. But that's what I like to do, just so that at a glance I can kind of tell like, okay, is this something I need to research or just something I need to study for, sort of thing. So that's why my key has 2 of each color. And of course, if you have more than 4 courses or less than 4 courses, you can just change up the number of colors accordingly. So now I'm just laying out each of the 4 months that are involved in this semester, September through December, writing out a mini calendar for each, and I am going to plot every single assignment on here. So like I briefly mentioned, I think that this works for both students and teachers. I know I used this kind of layout the entire time I was in college, and then when I graduated and started teaching, I realized that actually a really similar or even the same layout would still work for me as a teacher. So wherever you're at as far as education, I really do think that you can use some kind of spread like this to organize yourself and organize your assignments and things like that. So this isn't necessarily a place for like events or even daily to-dos. It's just a place to give you kind of an overview of the assignments that you have for the semester. So now you can see I'm using my key and transferring that over to the calendars according to the assignments that I have. So I have put a light blue solid dot on September 7th, and then below the calendar, I am actually going to put that same solid blue dot and write the date, the 7th, in that dot. And then I'm going to write the assignment beside it. So I don't actually have my assignments. That's why I didn't write anything beside it, but that's what I would do if I were you. And you can see I did the same thing with that hollow orange circle. I circled September 9th, and then below the calendar did that same hollow orange circle, wrote the 9th in there, and again, I would just write whatever assignment it is right beside that, so that on this page you can see every single assignment in calendar view and list view. So that I think is definitely one of my favorite pages of this entire spread, just because it really, really helps with organization and just seeing everything at a glance. So that first page was kind of semester at a glance. Here I want to do a week at a glance sort of thing, and this is really similar to what I do in my bullet journal all the time, even when I'm not a student or not a teacher, just so that I can lay out my week and be organized and sort of use like a time blocking technique to use my time effectively. So again, I'm using the same fonts as I used on the previous page, the bigger printed font, as well as that cursive font that I used for the months on the previous page. And now I am just labeling the side of my page according to the time of day. So I always start at the bottom of the page just to make extra sure that I'm going to have enough space to get to the time that I want. And so my day ranges from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Of course, you can range yours differently. And then I have the 5 days of the week on top. And as you can see, I'm using the same colors as I used on the previous page for each class to block in that class. So you don't even need to label these blocks if you don't want to. You can just fill them in with that color and you'll know that it's the same class. And if you have other things, like if you have practices or lessons or anything like that, you can grab another color and totally just write those in that color. Or if you'd like to and you don't like all the different colors going on at one time, honestly, I never use different colors for my own spreads, just for academic stuff like this. But if you don't like having all those colors going on at once, please feel free to just use one color, and then you can write a label into each box, just whatever class or whatever task it is. So that's the week at a glance. So we're kind of moving from like big picture to small picture here. We had the semester, we have the week, and now I have kind of an ideal day. So here I just want to fill in things that I want to prioritize, that I want to try to do, even amidst the busyness of school. So I'm just drawing little doodles. I want to drink lots of water, something like that. You can write a little sentence under like I did, or you can just do the doodle or just the sentence if you're not into doodling. I want to read for fun, so I'm just drawing a little book. Just things that I feel like often get neglected when you're so busy focusing on schoolwork, for me anyways. And I also tried drawing a little face mask down here. Kind of looks more like an alien, but I think you can see what I mean. She's supposed to look all relaxed in there. Face mask. So you can put anything on that ideal day page. I just sort of filled in a couple of ideas. Now on this page, I want to make like a study and sleep tracker. I decided to put it all in one because those two times don't overlap, the time that you're studying and when you're sleeping, at least they shouldn't. So what I've done is I've listed all the days of the month. So this one you're going to have to do on a month-to-month basis instead of like the full semester one. And along the top here, I have written out all the times. So my little blue square symbolizes AM and the pink one symbolizes PM. And then I've gone from 1 to 12 for each of those categories, AM and PM. And then I'm making my little heading, my tracker, and I am going to be tracking sleep in purple and studying in pink. So I'm going to go ahead and label those two things. And then I'm just going to use a thick stroke of my marker to kind of draw in the times every day that I spend sleeping and studying, just to track that I'm getting a healthy amount of sleep and just to track study habits as well as a student. Now, the final page of our spread today is an expense tracker. This I found especially important as a college student when you're not earning a ton of income and living in dorm or something like that, that does end up costing you a bit more money than necessary, it seems. So this is my expense tracker. So I'm just using the same type of font that I've been using throughout to give myself a little heading. And then I'm going to go and make some categories. So I'm going to go in with my markers and just do highlights first. And honestly, after making this, I kind of wish I had just done it all in one color instead of trying to use all of my colors to do the highlights. That's why usually for each month, I just choose a single color. But for this, I did decide to be a bit more colorful. So you can do it definitely however you want it. You can see the first column is the date. The next one is like the item. And the last two are negative and positive, so whether I spent that money or earned that money. And you can see I went way off the ruler in the first column. That was a big oops. So there's an overview of my student bullet journaling. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me for this school bullet journal spread. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you do find it helpful to track things like your assignments and your sleep and your studying and all of that. I know I have in the past, and I hope that I can help you in the future. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.